are going to be going into Falcon Puff.
Falcon
Puff.
Polo Webwipe. I think this is an awesome matchup. I love it. I like that they're the two characters with some of the best aerial mobility in the game. They can actually contest each other in that aspect. A lot of other characters kind of have to say, okay, you win the aerial mobility war. I'm going to stay grounded against you.
Yeah, you're completely right. Pretty much exactly what I was going to say. Just that, like, Falcon has this insane drift that he can use kind of throughout the entire matchup. When I started playing, people used to say, terrible matchup. Puff destroys Falcon. Clearly not the case. I feel like this is actually, like you said, such an exciting matchup to watch. I think there's so much kind of punish optimization that still has yet to occur. I think we've seen a lot of it from Wizrobe. We've seen the power of up air in both characters, actually, but in particular with Falcon. That's got to be, to me, one of the most broken moves in the entire game.
Up air is going to be huge here. Even if it doesn't lead into any true combos, it just covers so much space. It's hard to escape it without an air dodge or something committal like that.
It's just insane. It's just such an insane move. It might be top 5 moves for me. I don't know. I'm trying to think about it. Like, if I'm ranking them up, like, I don't know. It's so good on his kit too, just because you can drift so easily. But we are heading into the match. Starting on Battlefield, can't say I'm too surprised. And, you know, right now Puff is looking for, Nair, not surprising, up tilt, up air, pound, anything to kind of open him up at low percent and get an early follow-up, potentially in the form of a res.
And there we go. Webwipe did a pretty good job already taking on some percent. Now he can play neutral without worrying too much about CC or anything like that.
And this is a matchup where, like, this is honestly true for pretty much every matchup versus Puff, but early on, back air is really just a kind of zoning tool that you want to respect, but as the percents get higher and higher, back air becomes like one of the most lethal options that Puff has available to her. Just knocking her opponent off stage, setting up edge guards, beautiful sequence there by Polo, showing the strength of up air like we were saying earlier. But yeah, knocking the opponent off stage, it's just so powerful. But then now that we're at the low percents, not that useful again. You're right. Yeah, the back air, huge dispoint. Good to just maybe tag on some damage, keep your distance. But as soon as it starts knocking your opponent down, or if they're in the air, that's when you can get some juicy starters. Yeah, and oh, there we go. A nice up air, just like you were talking about. Could have gone for a rest there, actually. But like you said before, not a very rest-heavy Puff. So this is also a matchup. I think pretty much every every floaty matchup, I would say, positioning is everything, Who has center, who's above or below each other, what kind of their character's specific strengths are in terms of zoning. So important. And against Puff, like being in the corner can be really, really rough. Being below Falcon, actually surprisingly rough, but for both characters because of their up air. Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be, a huge fight over center stage here. Probably a little bit more exaggerated compared to other matchups like, say, Spacey Ditto. Yeah, exactly. Just because they've also, like, Falcon at least can kind of get back to center with his run speed very quickly, but Puff doesn't really have that. She kind of, like, she moves fairly fast in the air, but she doesn't really have the kind of ground speed. Oh my god, he misses the meteor cancel. He should be able to make it back. There we go, grab sledge. Uncontested. I kind of wish I saw Polo just like try to force that a bit more. He has a 2-stock lead. I was expecting him to at least try and cut off one option, but maybe he was waiting for Kyle to make a move. He might have been looking for an air dodge, like air dodge or maybe an aerial up onto stage. Puff 6 jump, basically, Air dodging up is just like actually an insane option for her as a character. She barely even has to clear the ledge to grab onto it once she starts going down. I think that's a huge advantage of people like Luigi. You can miss a wave dash off stage, you just grab ledge. But as we're talking about sort of like that one moment where he didn't really pressure Webwipe off stage, we are seeing kind of the potential comeback opportunity that Webwipe has. If he's able to get a kind of early stock, once you have that rest kind of on the table, which he does not now, it's anybody's game. And we can all just go back to that one moment. Like, Dobie, we are watching him turn it around, and if he had just, maybe done a bit more with that single edge guard, this set is, or this game at least, has been defined by that moment, I would say. Although, I will say, to give him credit, fighting against a Puff off stage is very scary. It may have been more of like a cost-benefit analysis, him saying, you know what, maybe I can hit him, but I probably won't kill him, but if he beats me, I'm dead. For sure. I just think sometimes, like, I think we'll see this more as the kind of meta develops, but like sometimes suicide options are really, really useful. Suicide, and I think like if he had tried to go for like a suicide dare or something, like it might have just been worth it. I don't want to pretend that like it's not. I don't want to at all say that Polo had some easy setup that he just dropped. That wasn't the case.
No, not at all.
Yeah,
it's
not
just
at
that
all.
He decided to let him be instead of trying to make a play.
Exactly. Like it's like it's sort of like, is this kind of risk reward worth it? And you know.
Oh wow, is that a nipple? It looked like it.
It was a nipple, and he is up a game. So like, while I'm here saying what he should or should not do, he's taken games off of one of the best players in the region.
That's
he's
right.
Playing incredibly well.
A player who beat SB today.
Exactly. Like someone who is more than capable, and he's showing up just how good he is. So really, really impressive stuff from Polo so far.
Mm-hmm. Plus, that is sort of a rule of thumb in Melee. If you have the lead, you're not the one that has to make anything happen, right? That's what they always say regarding timeouts or anything like that. If you're losing, then you should be the one approaching. Normally, that's not how it goes in practice, but that's the theory.
Definitely is the theory. So 83% knee will definitely do it, but I think for the most part, we're going to be seeing Falcon trying to abuse that kind of ASCI down, crouch cancel stuff. Just being at 0 is so valuable. And now that Puff herself is at 0, she has a bit more room to be flexible. She can kind of find openings a bit more safely and not worry about a stray hit.
Oh, wow. There we go. We see the Kyle Shields rest, a rare sight.
But, you know, that rest, not too big of a deal. Only getting 50% off of it, doesn't get the kill.
Yeah,
could have gone for a rest there once again. Not really a fan. You know, I find it very strange personally, but...
I agree. It is very strange, but you have to talk to him about it. He makes it very convincing that he doesn't trust himself in some rush situations.
I mean, he's a really good player. So
I agree. I think that's something, you know, a player of his skill should be able to work through if he put time on it, but he seemed to do just fine without rest.
And, you know, like we just saw, it's not like he doesn't rest.
No,
it's just
not.
he doesn't rest maybe as much.
Yeah, it's
he
not
doesn't
his
reaction tech
primary
chase
game
rest.
plan.
He doesn't go for rest reads, like that kind of stuff. And I do think sometimes like you can over-centralize with any character, like, oh, I gotta go for rest. Where's my rest setup? When like she has such a good kit otherwise, but still.
Yeah, absolutely.
One rest of a dream, yeah. So as we're talking about rest, as we're talking about kind of Webwipe strength, Polo is showing us he's no slouch himself, man. Already up 2 solid stocks once again, looking like the previous game, but on a counter pick of Webwipes, you know?
That's right.
Oh.
He's making excellent use of his space. Doesn't have projectiles to camp out Puff like Fox or Falco might be able to, but he has such good speed, such good mobility. It's just really hard for Puff to keep up.
No, for sure. And, you know, one aspect we haven't been seeing really of the matchup that is very, very relevant is this kind of mix-up between crouching and avoiding the grab and stomping to deal with the crouch.
Yes.
Huge, huge part of the matchup. There, you know, there's a stomp there. It's just such a fundamental part of neutral. Kind of funny that he'd go for it there just because of the percents, but
yeah, it wouldn't lead to much there.
yeah, but even still, he's just creating a wall that's so difficult to deal with. Gets the crouch cancel. That was big.
That was started a tech chase, but I don't know if he maybe expected the back air to send him the other way.
No, for sure. I think we're going to see Dreamland again, if I had to guess.
Looks like FD.
Oh, okay. All right, I kind of like
there we
that.
go. Also, kind of cool side note, love the timer, small to make enough room for the Champions of Vancouver logo here. Pretty cool touch.
That is very cool. Definitely worth pointing out. It's stuff like that you kind of, you know, we got the full screen, like just setting it up in different ways. You know, I think I mentioned this before, but like I used to follow StarCraft for a while. A long time ago, they implemented like a new UI for the game to kind of keep track of all the different stuff going on.
So
and
this is kind of a separate UI for different from players, but
observers.
for viewers.
Like it basically, because it used to look just the same for players. Like the way it was for players was the way it was for observers.
Right.
And at first I was like, I don't really like this because I'm not used to it. But over time I was like, this is clearly better. And
Yeah.
something like as simple as this, where it's like, okay, like making the timer a little bigger. Now we got some room for some logo or whatever. Like just managing space. That there's a lot of room for that. And I feel
That's
like
right. We don't have that huge bar on the side of the
Exactly.
screen that we have to fill with logos or sponsors.
And it's still the same game. Like I you know, especially if you're a spectator. Like I think it's a really interesting experience.
Yeah, and all these little things, that's just something you notice if you're paying attention, but it makes really no difference.
But you know who is paying attention is the people behind all these stage mods, Gallant Gaming. They're looking, they're saying, how can we innovate the space, a space that's been around for, beautiful tech, by the way, around for, 20 years. He gets it again. This is an execution test and a half. He gets it once
wow.
more.
Gets the tech into a back air, finally gets back on stage, back off into the edge guard again.
Oh, and then he ends
my
it with the
God.
side B. Beautiful tech, though.
I love
the
the idea there. A lot of people would not be ready for that side B. They'd jump ready for the up B and let him back on stage. That was great awareness by Webwipe.
I just think, you know, it's one of those things where obviously you go into 20XX, you go into Uncle Punch, you grind some umps and tech, whatever, or like whatever it is, you get better at it. But then when it's grand finals or quarterfinals or semifinals, you're up against one of the best players and you need to hit it every single time, and he does. That's not easy at all.
No, and that gives you confidence. He still ended up losing that stock, but that gives him confidence. He's hitting everything he can. He's making it really hard for Webwipe. There's not much more you can ask for.
Well, it's like you said, like really hard for Webwipe too. Like when you're in that position, you're just kind of like rolling your eyes, like looking at the floor, like, oh my God, like I just want to kill this guy, and he's making it so difficult. And that's how you win tournaments. So good stuff to Polo already, like showing why he's up 2-0, man.
Oh, there we go, down throw knee.
All right, 50%, still looking for any kind of solid follow-up, but down throw is one of those solid follow-ups we are looking for, and that'll
kill.
A stock. We are allowed into the last stock. Is this going to be a 3-0?
Ooh, I don't know. I would not count out Webwipe yet. This man is a gamer with a capital G.
Capital G, gaming, the whole 9 yards. He is a very, very, very capable player, but this could be the kill setup that he was looking for. Beautiful DI from Webwipe. Oh, but how does he climb the mountain that is 3 stocks from Captain Falcon?
More and more difficult by the second.
Really is. Like, I do kind of wonder about the FD pick. I don't think it's the worst, but I feel like Polo is just so comfortable with this space.
I think he is too, yeah.
Good nair and a dash attack.
Oh, there we go.
The first stock. Okay, like we said before, anything can happen. Set up a quick gimp, and then all of a sudden the rest is on the table. That's one of the things that makes you so confident as a pup player, is you always feel you can come back.
That's right. That is the clutch box effect.
It's true. Yeah, the clutch box effect, it's what kind of made him famous, and it's every pup player has it in them. But good stuff to Polo, 3-0, closes it out.
That was excellent stuff. Polo is looking mad nice today.
Yeah, confident, definitely, like, you know, had a little highlight too with that tech thing. Like,
oh yeah,
it's just,
no kidding.
It's about composure, right? Like some things, it's not even that they're necessarily so hard.
Oh,
it's more just like,
here we got Chango here. Should have gone to FOD, he says. Chango, excellent puff player from Washington.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think FOD, I can kind of see why. Not just because it's the classic Falcon counter pick, but because Falcon was doing so well with the space. Like between Dreamland and what's it called? Final Destination. They kind of was just sort of like running circles around Puff, and even though Puff has that drift,
taking away all the platforms from Dreamland, and he's still able to run circles around him.
Plus, like on Fountain, Puff can kind of like work around things like slide us and stuff on the platforms too. Like she can go for like weird thing, like instead of going for an up air, she'll go for like a back air, like off, like or like an up air into the back air or something. Like there's things you can do to kind of play around Captain Falcon's defenses. But if he has so much space, like it's not the same really. So.
Absolutely. So up next.